Okay, everybody, we're live on the Facebook and we're going to try this again. Earlier, I was on Facebook Live, and for some reason, it doesn't seem like that video posted. So I'm doing this one again. So at the board meeting on Monday, we had a presentation, and I want to tell you a little bit about that and my feelings about that. So House Bill 3, which was passed in the last legislative session, it had lots of things in there, but one of the things in there requires school boards to pass some specific goals regarding reading, math, and college and career military readiness. So I want to focus for now on the reading part. There's a section on the goals that requires us to adopt some specific goals for third grade reading. So specifically, the reason that this is done is because it's been found that if you are a good reader by third grade, it makes huge differences in your educational outcomes, because you up till then you've been basically learning to read, but after third grade you're reading to learn, because you can learn so much more if you're a good reader. You can articulate yourself better. You can get into colleges much easier. You have a better educational opportunity and outcome if you're a good reader. So there is a requirement that the school boards adopt specific goals regarding that. Now, we already adopt goals to begin with, but this goes a little bit further because it has to be adopted by different subpopulations. For example, we have to have a goal specifically for whites, for Hispanics, for blacks, for Asians, for special education, for English language learners, economically disadvantaged. So let me share with you what the goals are for all students in third grade at HCISD to meet grade level or above on the STAR. So in 2020, it was 47%. Because of COVID and we didn't have a STAR test this year, we were allowed to keep the same percentage for 2021. So the goal for 2021 is 47% of the students in third grade to meet grade level or above on the STAR. Now, in 2022, it was supposed to go up to 49%. In 2023, it was supposed to go to 51%. And in 2024, it was supposed to go to 53%. So there's also goals that are required, like I said, for the different subpopulation groups. And so I was looking at those gaps first in achievement. So in 2020, if you looked at the goals, there are still reading gaps in achievement. So it was projected the scores are such that for if you were let me look, African American, you were lagging 31% behind whites. If you were Hispanic, you were lagging 23%. If you were economically disadvantaged, you'd lag 29% behind whites. If English language learners would lag 27% behind whites. So those are achievement gaps in 2020 based on the 2020 goals. Now, obviously we didn't have a STAR test, so we don't know if we met or didn't meet those goals because those are based on STAR scores. Now, but we still have goals up to 2024. Now, if you look at the goals up to 2024, and you look at the achievement gaps between for all those groups that I mentioned just a little bit ago, the achievement gaps would still be the same. So in 2020, the achievement gap between African Americans and white students is 31%. But in 2024, according to the goals that were being proposed for HCISD, the achievement gap would still be 31%. For Hispanics, it would still be 23% 4 years later. For economically disadvantaged students, it would still be 29%. For English language learners, the gap would still be 27%. So that, to me, is a problem, because that means that the goals are too low. What it means is that there's not enough effort that would be put into closing achievement gaps if the goal isn't set to close those. Now, the way the state does their achievement gap scores is according to what the administration is as explained during the board meeting, was that the increases in percentages of total number of kids who are minorities would suffice. Just an increase in the number of the percent the number of kids who meet or exceed the star score. So what's to me, I'm gonna be real honest with you. To me, that's just too weak a goal. To me, if you're not aggressively trying to close the achievement gap so that African Americans don't lag 31% behind whites in HCISD, where Hispanics don't lag 23% behind, if you're not setting a goal that's high enough to do something about that, your goal is too weak. And so I think it's really important that we as a board set higher expectations and do what we need to do to support the school district to achieve those goals. So the school board, as you know, the last few years during goal setting really has not, as a whole, supported more aggressive achievement gap closure. However, at this meeting, it sounded like more school board members were willing to try that. So instead, we were supposed to vote on the specific goal at the next Monday's meeting, but some school board members have decided, why don't we wait on that and vote in August and give the administration some more time to create a plan to be a bit more aggressive on closing achievement gaps. So let's see what happens. I'll keep you posted. I think it's really important that we as a board set goals that help all our students very well. I'd want this district to be in a position where if the typical student that walks in gets a super high quality education, a really good outcome. But to do that, one, we have to set the goal. Number two, we have to do all the work to get there. Now, the other thing that I mentioned during the board meeting that I thought that some people would like to know a little bit more about, and I know I've already been asked about this, is I've talked about the science of reading. So the science of reading is something that's going on. If you Google it, if you go to Twitter, for example, you'll see a lot of people tweeting about it. So it's been found that there's different ways to teach reading, and some ways are better than others. And so there's a movement called whole language. There's a movement called balanced literacy. There's synthetic phonics. There's regular phonics. So it's been found that the synthetic phonics, which is a very strict phonics program that teaches you to read by sounding out the words and learning the different combinations of letters that lead to certain sounds and learning to spell and read and write that way, that a lot of kids learn really, really well compared to other methods of teaching reading. In fact, if a student is dyslexic, one of the best ways to teach them to reading is through a very strict application of phonics. And so we at the school district have been moving more to that than we had been in the past. I think we still got a ways to go, in my opinion, but I think we're getting there. That has if we have a good implementation of that, that will definitely help reading scores in the district. Now, I think that by setting a higher goal, that means that everybody has to marshal the resources to achieve that goal. And so that guides the daily decisions and the weekly decisions and the monthly decisions that are impact the final goal of more kids reading well by third grade. So this is why this is really important to me. So I just want to thank you all for listening to this video. I want to tell you that I will keep you posted definitely about the quest to close achievement gaps at Hays CISD. I also want to tell you that I really appreciate y'all very much. I know I've gotten a lot of support in the community for this, and it means a lot to me. I also would like to ask everybody that if you'd like to go to my website, willieforeducation.com, Willie the number 4 education.com. There's a newsletter that you can sign up for, and I'll keep you posted through that newsletter also. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.